My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A-game. A-made, no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This is an A-game, better bring your A-game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your
Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and as usual, going solo on that ass, but it's still the same. We're talking TNA wrestling, the Impact on AMC, the TNA on AMC era has begun. What an era, what a show to begin the era, to say the least. If you guys came here for rainbows and butterflies and you were hoping that I would have just been elated by a 3-match show stretched out over a 2-hour period, you are you are going to be greatly disappointed, because I did not think this show was all that good. You know, it's one of those things, like you get high hopes for TNA because all they really ever wanted was a platform. Once they lost Spike TV and they went through all the turmoil with Dixie, who was on the show, they went through the turmoil with Dixie, and they sold the company, and they sold the Anthem, and they had all these issues. All they ever wanted was a platform, and they said, once we get our platform, then people are going to really see what we're about. And unfortunately, we did get to see what they're about. And they had no real controversy, no craziness, although some stuff happened before the show. But what they presented was not a very good pro wrestling show. I do have a special guest on the line right now, JD by God Oliva. How you doing, JD? Welcome back to Brace for Impact, man. How are you?
First time, long time. I'm miserable. Fucking miserable tonight. Nothing to do with TNA, actually. I will say that I kept abreast on the show. I had meat. I just got back from my meet. I kept up thanks to Twitter, which, by the way, I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be. Tonight was a night to be on Twitter. Let me tell you something. Mike, I will say this. At least Taylor Wilde wasn't dealing tarot cards on the apron.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to. There were some positives to the show, and I'm gonna get to some of those. Positive is Mike Santana won, no shenanigans. He got the belt clean as a whistle. They didn't do the cash in, which we all thought Nick Nemeth was going to come in at the end of the show and cash in and win the title, or there was going to be some fuckery there. So that was good. AJ Styles showed up to open the show. I made the joke that he showed up, he pepped up the crowd, and he left, but that wasn't the case. He actually shot angles backstage. So it looks like we're going to get some more of AJ Styles. But other than that, there was nothing really on this show that is even worth talking about.
Dude, Sonya Deville is in the company. The suit, because if there's one thing that TNA really lacked, it was authority figures.
Yeah.
They don't have enough authority figures in this company. Is this
Yeah,
what we want? Is this Mike? I'm sorry, I've been so out of TNA for such a long time. I left the Brace for Impact chat. Like, is this the product that the fan base wants now?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think they do. I think they like this. Well, and we'll see. The chat's blowing up and they don't like it, but and the folks in the Brace for Impact chat on Twitter, they did not like it either. But I think that I think you're kind of baby brained, like don't really care. Like, I know there was like the mythical casual fan, like those people. They probably enjoyed it because they haven't seen TNA in a long time and they don't really care. But if you care about like pro wrestling, I think that you watch the show, you were like, this wasn't very good. Despite the fact, I thought the first match with the Hardys and Elijah versus Mustafa Ali and Jason Hotch and John Skyler, that was a good match. It was short and sweet. They didn't have to kick out of everything, which I love. Right? They went home, so they did. The match didn't overstay their welcome. And then after that, it just like this big drop off. And I told people what was going to happen with the show, and they were going to do. It was going to be heavy on promos and heavy on angles because they're trying to introduce new characters to a brand new audience. What I didn't expect was that they would only have 3 matches. And one of them would be one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life, which is the Elegance brand versus the Inspiration. I didn't expect that.
Who are gone now, by the way.
The
Inspiration, they're gone now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, the Inspiration are out of the company, which I'm not surprised, and I'll be honest, they didn't really get over this time. Like last time they were in the company, they were actually like they seemed like fairly over, but this time they're just not.
So is the reason the Inspiration didn't get over this time is because there been total, I don't want to say turnover, but I mean, is this a completely new fan base where the fact that Cassie and I forget their names. Is it because they haven't been in WWE for so long?
I think that they haven't been anywhere in so long. Because when they first came in, they were right off WWE television, and they got over.
Yeah, they were over. I remember that.
They weren't on television for like 3 or 4 years, and then they came back, and they're doing the same shtick, and it just didn't work. It didn't get over. Now, Sean Ross Sapp reported that a lot of like other companies got their eye on them. I don't see like who. They were already in WWE and they got fired.
If Tony Khan signs these two, he has to have his brain examined, quite frankly.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. If anything, I guess they would go back to the WWE. Maybe they would have a spot for them. But I couldn't imagine, because what they were doing didn't work in TNA. I don't see it working at a bigger level.
Unless they're gonna have him back in NXT to work with people. But I mean, I don't see any rookies getting better working with those two. I don't know. Like, no. They've been doing that shtick since like what, 2017, 2018, something like that. Something
like that, yeah.
Like, it's been a long time. I don't know, man.
I liked their first run. I thought their first run, I thought they were entertaining. I thought they brought something different to the show. They were fun characters, but this time I think that they're not doing anything really unique. So yeah, but they're done. So that was some of the big news. So I will start off with some of the this day has been nothing but chaos in TNA, JD, believe it or not.
I'm shocked to hear that. Shocked.
Yeah, so the day actually starts off well, where we hear that Nick Nemeth has actually signed a contract with the company, which is good because he misses a lot of dates, because he is we got somebody in the backstage. I'll bring you up here soon, Namdi. But he misses a lot of dates because he prioritizes his indie days over TNA. He was kind of a Matt Cardona type figure. So they got him under a contract. And okay, that's the good news. And then we find out that a lot of people were not able to make the show because they had visa issues. So their overseas talent and their Canadian talent couldn't come in. Now, I had reported a couple of days ago that Leon Slater was pulled from the show.
We knew that.
Because WWE wanted him for the European tour. Well, it turns out WWE's getting him for the European tour because he can't get into the States because TNA didn't get his visa updated. That's what's being broken now. That was a story that they told, and I think Sean Ross Sapp had that in Fightful Select. It wasn't he was getting pulled. It was because he can't get into the States right now. So now he's going to work the WWE European tour, which thank God WWE's there. So he can actually do it. So he got pulled from tonight's show where his match was with Myron Reed, who, by the way, is now fucking with AEW. Right. So the whole thing was just like chaos, right? Like they had this match booked. They announced it a couple weeks ago. And like now they couldn't have it because not only did Leon Slater not able to get in the country, but Myron Reed doesn't even work here anymore. So that match gets thrown out. Leon had another match at Genesis that now he can't make. So they added Joe Hendry to that match. And somehow that match got way worse. So who knows when we'll get Joe Hendry and Danny Luna. Hell, Lance Storm, the backstage producer, he can't even get into the country right now. So TNA fucked up all of their visas for their foreign talent. So they had all of that. They did, and I guess they found out late because they didn't book a lot of the wrestlers for the show. So Steve Macklin wasn't even in town, right? It's like, okay, well, if you're missing all these people, maybe you could have had like guys come in and wrestle, but they decided not to wrestle. They decided to just cut promos to kill the time.
That's a terrible idea, especially when you don't have a lot of great promo people in the company. Macklin can't be happy about that, right? It's their debut on a new network, and they don't even bring him in.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I think he's done. I just have a feeling, just based off of some social media activity and the fact that he has not resigned here, and they didn't bring him. Not only did they not bring him here tonight, he's not booked for Genesis. I don't think he's coming back. So I was going to be curious to see what happens with Macklin. Me personally, I'd love for AEW to bring him in, but they got so many guys there. It's like, where would he even fit? It'd be tough for him.
This is such a weird. I've never seen a company more, even including TNA the first time they tried this, right? The first time they made this big splash. Well, it's a couple times. There's the 2 Spike times. It was the first time they showed up on Spike, which went okay. And then the Monday night thing, which was well more planned than this.
Yeah.
I can't help the feeling they got caught with their pants down.
Yeah, my only explanation is this is just what this company is. This is just what they do, right? They just tried to fly by the seat of their pants. They and they got caught with their pants down. Not only did Tony Khan kind of do a mini raid by signing 5 talents off the roster in a week. They lost Killer Kelly. They and then all of their visa issues. So everything just goes to shit like a week before. And now they're scrambling and struggling. And for whatever reason, they decided to have people cut promos instead of wrestle. And like they still have good wrestlers on the card. They could have put together some matches.
But this was the plan. This is what Matt Hardy was talking about. He's like, we're going to have the perception of being number 2. Their idea of the perception number 2 was just doing a shit ton of talking and showing you faces that you may have recognized that were on WWE TV. I don't think it was a good plan, but this is like what they wanted. And by the way, we had a text chain going earlier today, and I told you I thought Killer Cross would debut tonight. Oh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a guy that overplayed his hand more than Cross?
Well, so here's the thing with Killer Cross. Like, he doesn't fit AEW. He does fit what TNA does.
Yes, that's what I thought he burned tonight.
He burned the bridge on the way out. Right.
I thought everybody he burned bridges with was gone for the most part.
Tommy Dreamer's still here. Tommy Dreamer's been in the same position the whole time. In fact, Tommy Dreamer's been promoted since then. But so like Cross, and in an effort to get out of his Impact Wrestling deal back in the day, because he had an NXT deal waiting for him, he tried to burn it to the ground on his way out and go to the media and say that he was poor and that Scarlett's poor and they can't afford to get meals. And when we asked them for more money, they say you should probably supplement your income with independent dates like every other fucking person on the roster. And he didn't want to do that. So he wanted to just be paid full time for 2 days a month. And so like it just went to shit. And so like, as far as I know, he's just not welcome back right now. Crazy. I'm always like, if you get over and you can draw money for the company, they'll bring you back. I just don't know that he's that guy. I don't think he's capable of that.
No, but we've had this debate before, right? I was thinking why they bring those guys in. They aren't over. Like anybody, not the Rascals. I'm saying anybody. Anytime anybody signs anybody, it's like, well, they're not over. Well, no one's. no one's over in the traditional sense of what we think of in the 80s and 90s as being over. Because, like, the brand is a draw, right? CM Punk is probably the last true guy who made an individual difference, right? I don't, like, if Cody were to go back to AEW tomorrow, I don't think those people would go with him that are watching him on Netflix. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I think wrestling has become almost too tribal, right? Where, like, you have your home team and that's who you watch, and it just I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think one good thing did happen tonight. And look, I don't want to like completely shut on the entire show. It wasn't a good show. Some good stuff did happen during the main event. One of the greatest things that has ever happened in the history of Impact of TNA wrestling happened. JD, I'm going to share screen right now. The I Heart Mike Gilbert picture made it on, and he flipped off the camera. That is our. Who is that? Is our boy Junkyard Akiyama. He
is one of the greatest trolls in history. I appreciate him so much.
Yeah. He'll be in the chat later. Keep it Wolfson, but I just added his alter ego there, but he said he was going to get the I Love Mike Gilbert on the show, and he sure as hell did, and he flipped off the camera, and they got it in full view, and then of course Javier Draven, my buddy, Wrestling Covers, made sure to get a screen grab of that. So that was really cool. It's very special to me.
It should be, Mike. That is, you have made it. You are, no one has shit on TNA and propped them up as much as you have the last 5 years. And I feel like you've transcended. Congratulations. You and Dixie Carter were unexpected surprises tonight on TNA.
Yeah. Did they really need to boo Dixie? I mean, come on. We wouldn't that company would have died in 2002 had Dixie not taken it over. I mean, come on.
100%. Like, did Vince Russo placate her ego and use it to seek to cure his own job? Yes, absolutely. Should she have been on TV? I don't know. She's pretty good looking. She wasn't a horrible performer. Like, we've seen worse performers than Dixie Carter. Like, I don't know. It's stupid. Because it's not like if Vince McMahon were to return to Raw on Monday that people wouldn't cheer him. Let's not pretend that wouldn't happen. Like, the fact that TNA people are still booing Dixie 10 years after she's been gone is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, so she did kind of tank the company, when she brought in Hulk Hogan, and then like all the chaos that happened after that. But like the company would have died 10 years prior to that had she not, got her parents to fund the thing, and she built it up to like a great company for a little while before it tanked.
Yeah, it was actually, dude, I will maintain for the life of me, like 2005 to 2009, TNA is a fucking blast of a company. Like, they have their moments, but I mean, like, that's some fun wrestling. TNA was a bright spot in some dark times of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You can't falter for getting conned by the con artists. Like, that's just Hogan and Bischoff made their careers off of it.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I think it's needless to boo her, because like if her and Panda don't bail this company out in 2002, we're not having this conversation. We don't have a show.
Yeah. Well, hey, JD, I'm gonna let you skedaddle. I know you got a long night because I got two other guys waiting in the backstage area. This is gonna go on the Voices of Wrestling. I'm gonna edit this tomorrow. This will be the Mike and JD show for last week. So, but this is like they're just gonna get an episode of Brace for Impact, and then JD and I Sunday night we're back. All right.
No, I have Bears tickets, Mike.
You have what?
I have Bears tickets.
Oh, that's right. You're going to the fucking Bears game. Okay.
Bears game.
We'll bear down. So maybe what I'll do is I'll call up Cousin Joe.
Yeah.
Because I'll be watching TNA Genesis. TNA Genesis looks like dog shit, by the way. It looks like an absolute fucking shit show. But I'm gonna watch that this weekend. But I'm not going to go live afterwards because the 49ers are playing on Saturday. That's when their playoff game is. They got the Seahawks on Saturday night. So, but I'll be back Sunday night with probably Cousin Joe. I'll text him and see if he can roll with me on Sunday night. So you enjoy the Bears game. I'm going to bring on Gerard. Speaking of Bears, I'm going to bring on Namdi, and we're going to keep the show rolling, man. Thanks, JD.
See you guys.
See ya. Man. So I let JD come on to Brace for Impact. First time in years. And as he's hanging up, now I've got to text him right now. As he's hanging up, he killed the live feed on one of the biggest nights that I've had on this thing. Let me see. I got to text JD. Tell him that, like, dude, you killed it. All right, I'm back up. Man, I had good numbers. Let's see. Alter says, Mike, the heck, if you keep having production staff, because I'm sure TNA is going to give you a job for sure. I'm pretty sure that was JD, because I didn't do anything. I was just adding Gerard and everybody to the chat. Okay, that's so fucking funny. All right, my bad. Let's see. Sounds like TNA production staff are running your show. Yeah, for sure. Nope, just me and JD not knowing what we're doing. You know, we've done the show for 4 or 5 years now using the same software. But yeah, so, you know, overall a disappointing show, to say the least. And it's even disappointing, and I went into it with like low expectations. I didn't expect there to be banger matches all up and down the show. I did expect there to be some, like, you know, like more than a couple of good matches. I expected there to be some big names coming in, but we never got that. We got, you know, Daria, whatever her name is, and we got Cora Jade, and that was really about it. So, and then we got the new Heather Biel against whatever his name is. Let's see. Let's get Namdi on the show. What's up, my brother? What'd you think of the show, dude?
Man, I don't even know where to begin, man. It was, I would say it was probably in the middle for me. It's pretty low. It wasn't, I don't think it was a good show, to be honest, man. It wasn't a good show. The main event was pretty good. They started off pretty well. Then, obviously, we got to the Elegance Inspiration match, and everything just went downhill from there, man. Like, it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is that AJZ guy that they presented, I called that. I remember it was on one of my podcasts, but I was like, when they brought AJZ out in Minnesota, I think it was, and he got squashed by Mike Santana, I was like, I think this guy's got some talent. He looks good. He, you know, he's a young guy. He's shredded, and he seemed like he had a little bit. It was just a squash match, but I thought this guy's got some charisma. And then when they announced that contest for the Mr. Elegance, it's like, oh, they're probably going to put that kid in there. And sure enough, they did. What I didn't anticipate was how cheesy and awful it was going to be.
You know, Mike, I'm sort of trying to wrap my head around the thought process in this whole thing. Like, their skits are never good. Like, they are never good.
Yeah.
But for some weird reason, they put them on TV. And it's crazy because they literally put them on TV, like on a live episode of TNA today. Like, this was like the biggest show in over a decade. And
I would say one of the most important shows in the history of the company, for sure.
Literally.
Yeah.
And they had to run with this. It didn't quite make any sense to me. And you know, it's one of the main issues I have with this creative, man. It's like, I always try to I'm trying to factor the thought process in this whole thing. Like, what possessed them to put this crap on TV? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, it's TNA, man.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Look, I realized a long time ago that that's just what this company is. Some people, some corporations, and some teams they're not capable of greatness.
Right.
You know, they can do good things. They can win sometimes, but they're not capable of being great. And people who are not capable of being great, they get swallowed in the biggest moments. And that's kind of what happened with TNA. Like, the whole world started crumbling around them, leading up to the show. Like, how do you not have your contracts done before the end of the year? Like, how do you not have your roster set before the debut on AMC? You don't even have your advertising matches for guys that aren't even going to be wrestling here, right? And then how do you not get the visas straightened out? Like, it's not uncommon for someone to miss a match because of a visa issue, right. But to have all of them, like all of your foreign talent, not be able to make it in because their visas expired, like, that is just straight up, you know, people that just can't be great. Like they don't know how to be great. They just don't understand what it takes to get to that level. They don't have the management skills. They don't have the professionalism. They just don't have it. This is what you get. So, and honestly, they deserve the ridicule that they're getting because of what they did. Like they could have, and this is what happens when you are great. You have injuries or you have issues with a show. You can pivot it, and sometimes it's even better than what it was going to be. Right?
Yeah.
Like you put in replacement matches. You work hard. You grind. You work overtime. But instead, what they did is like, oh, okay, well, we missed out on the Leon match. A lot of people aren't here, so let's just have some folks cut promos. So we're gonna do 2 hours of promos, and we're gonna give them like one good match. Like I think you had two good matches because I did like the Hardys match to begin the show. I thought the main event was good. They did have the shenanigans with the referee, but that's just like what they do. So that doesn't really bother me.
You know,
but I did think that it was a strong main event, and I was glad that Mike Santana became the world champion again.
No, I'm actually surprised they actually pulled that off. Like, well, obviously there was a shenanigan with the referee, but besides that, I'm actually surprised they did pull that off with no, like, it wasn't overbooked or anything. But then again, it's just this company, man. I think they really defined the term ineptitude. Like, they are really inept. And I think it just transcends just creative. I think they're just inept in every facet of the business.
Yeah.
They're not qualified for anything. Their thought process sucks. They have poor self-awareness. Like, it's insane. Like, how do you get rid of 10 talents? Like, literally, your rival company picks up 6 talents from your company in 1 week. We're talking about 4 to 5 talents potentially leaving the company this week. Like, it's insane. It's insane. There's no smooth transition in place. Everything just happened, like, right off the bat, overnight.
Yeah.
It's literally crazy.
What we should be talking about is one of the biggest nights in the history of the company, but what we're actually talking about is how incompetent these people are. So, and you know what? Like, even I'm saying all this like as a fan, I didn't think the show was good, right? And I don't think this is going to hurt them. I really don't. I get the feeling that tonight there was a lot of buzz tonight. I know like Joe Lanza, Voices of Wrestling, said there was no buzz. No, there's people talking about this goddamn show nonstop for the last 2 weeks.
It's crazy because I actually agree. Like, I've always made a comment, like, in our group chat, like, this company's one, like, bad couple of ratings happening to them before they start cleaning house. But I don't think they're gonna lose viewerships. If anything, they're potentially gonna gain more viewerships because they're relying so heavily on NXT. Like, you could just I mean, okay, look at the attendance today. Most of the attendance today were NXT fans. I mean, it's just crazy. Like,
they were chanting "Holy shit" when Sol Ruka and the other lady came out.
Zarya, yeah.
I'd never seen Zarya before. I know Sol Ruka because I think she's like a megastar. I saw her at the John Cena final show, and she came into TNA and did some stuff. I had never seen the other person before. I thought they'd signed a new wrestler off the Indies, like when she first came out.
Literally.
I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, who is this lady? But the crowd was like chanting "Holy shit" when they came out, and I was like, they're not like. That lady, I know Sol Ruka is becoming a big star. She's not there yet, but I think she's going to be. But the other ones, I've never even heard of this person.
I was pretty surprised that Sol Ruka was over there because I thought she was like geared for the main roster. So I was pretty surprised that she came on TNA tonight.
Yeah,
I was kind of like wrapping my head around that a little because typically the Fed wouldn't want her to, be at TNA if she's being called up to the main roster. So I was kind of pretty surprised. I mean, Zarya, when her face popped up on the Titantron, I figured that was her. But I wasn't expecting Sol Ruka.
They did do a thing on NXT earlier this week where they said that Sol Ruka and Zarya were going to be there because they were challenging for the tag titles at Genesis. Well, they threw a wrench into that, and they decided to put Zarya in that match because apparently TNA has no women on the roster qualified to work a world title match because Danny Luna's out of that match because of her visa issue, and nobody in the company is good enough to be a world champion, so they had to pull somebody else from NXT. So that's what they're doing now. So,
they had 1 month. TNA had 1 month to wrap up this visa situation. And you see, that's the problem with this company sometimes, is because they have all this ample time. They obviously they don't go live for their TV shows, so they have ample time to sort of prepare for their shows. I mean, besides the 1 month taping block, they have a full month to plan. But like, what are they slacking off? I mean, I don't get it. Like, literally,
I think it just comes down to incompetence and just people that don't know how to be great. And I think that's what we saw tonight. It was, a bunch of chaos leading up to the show. They put out the best product that they thought that they could. And I guarantee you at the end of the night, they all thought it was good. Because they just like what we like and what they think that we deserve are two different things. But hey, Namdi, I'm gonna let you go, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull in Gerard now, and then I'm gonna get to the chat. I'm gonna call it a night because it is getting close to midnight. But hey, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you.
No problem, man.
Later. All right, I am here now with Gerard. We used to call him Big New Distribution Deal Gerard, but he's just Gerard now. From bodyslam.net. Gerard, man, you talk about TNA more than any person on the planet Earth. It's like you and Io. What did you think of tonight's show?
Hey, man, you might have to start calling me Big New Distribution Deal again because too many more shows like this, and they might lose this faster than MLW lost Reels.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, I watched this show, and I didn't think it was a good wrestling show. For sure, because they didn't have hardly any wrestling on it. Now, I'm not a guy that needs 5-star matches up and down the show, but can you give me something? I thought the main event was pretty good. I like the opener. Other than that, you had nothing. I did get the feeling that the show did come across as like a big time event, a big time happening. I thought it was cool that they had the AMC crossover with the stars from Dark Winds in the front row, and they introduced some new characters. Now, I already know that, Cora Jade stinks, right? But I did think that Daria Ray played her part well. I thought that she was probably the best promo on the whole show, to be honest with you. So I think they did do some of that. And then they paid off the Mike Santana angle, which was also good. But so I think for your average wrestling fan, you probably were not that interested in it. But I think that if you're trying to pick up some new fans and maybe some casual viewers, they probably did do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like sometimes it's almost like, you and I especially, because we look at like a lot of the business stuff that a lot of other people don't really pay attention to. So like we're just like, oh, why is this? Why is contracts going on? Why is this person here? Why is this person here? And like the casual viewer is probably just like, who is that? Like, what do you mean? Especially on like a bigger platform like this, where like maybe they don't know about a Steve Macklin or something like that to begin with, but you and I are like, oh man, Macklin's not there. Like that doesn't bode well for his status with the company or whatever. So like I do kind of step back sometimes and like realize that like I'm a more like ingrained viewer than like a casual viewer with a lot of this stuff. I like the Daria edition. I think you keep her and Santino in there, kind of like the dual authority figures. That can be kind of cool. We don't need any more knockouts. Like, I mean, if you look at the knockouts roster, like a lot of them are like younger, like they picked them up off the independents and they've been here for a little bit and they're like coming up. They got some, and like, I think we talked about this a little bit too. Like TNA for a long time has had like too many like WWE talent. And I think there's a few sticking around that like maybe don't really need to be there, but like the Nemeth's valuable, Hardy's are valuable. On the female side, Ash I would say is valuable. Leading Lee is valuable because they can still go and they can like still help the younger talent. Where like people are like, oh, signing Nick Nemeth isn't that big of a deal. it's actually a pretty big deal because
Yeah.
he can go better than a lot of even like the younger guys. Like the shape that he's in is just it's insane for his for his age and how long he's been in the business and all that. Like
Yeah,
Frankie's another guy.
there's a narrative out there that Nick Nemeth's not good. He's very good. He
Yeah,
is a very good pro wrestler. He's a
sure,
great
like
pro wrestler. He might not do the style that everybody likes, but I happen to like his style, and I think that he always does well. Hold on, Ayo saying breaking news, fellas. What is the breaking news, Ayo? Do I need to go to Twitter?
yeah, I'm gonna go in there right now and see what's up.
Let me see what's going on here. Okay, hold on. Oh, so I did hear about this. So this is from TNA. I'm not going to pull up the tweet because I don't want to get nuked. But it says there's drama following the conclusion of TNA Impact as Nick Nemeth looked to call a shot, and a big world title match was made official. I think they made it a 3-way, so it's a 3-way match at the pay-per-view now, which is kind of. I'm pretty sure. I was like, if it's I was like, if they're not doing Nick Nemeth versus Santana, then it's probably a 3-way. Wait, hold on. Dobby's saying it's not. Hold on, Dobby, what is it? Hold on.
It might just be Nemeth and Santana.
Frankie versus Santana Texas Death Match. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that could be pretty good with Nemeth as a special ref. Oh, that sounds like dog shit. Never mind.
Here we go. What were we, I was just gonna say this. I was just gonna praise them for not overbooking this.
Yeah.
And then we put on a digital exclusive, whereas at least this wasn't on. It just didn't air on TV. But come on, man. Like.
Yeah. So we're definitely not getting AJ Styles in the main event.
No.
Yeah, but I think that we will get AJ Styles wrestling soon. He was looking at the belt in the show, so they just shot an angle with Frankie. I think we're just going to get the match with Frankie.
We might. I think even in the one with Santana now, where he was back there, like I don't know. I think it could. I think it could go either way because, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Inspiration being out of the company?
You know what? To be honest with you, like I said on one of my live streams earlier in the week, I was like, I would like to see them do almost a total title reset anyway. Like flip every single title with the exception of like the X Division. Like Leon could keep that. But like I was like, give it to the Elegances because I was kind of getting into the point that we were just talking about where like if you look at this from the outside looking in, like there's way too many former TNA talents that like don't need to be here. And guess what? The Inspiration were one of the ones I was going to mention on the knockout side anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that they were just taking up space in the company, and I didn't really feel like they added anything. It's not like the Rascals. I think the Rascals is actually like the big loss. Like I don't see Jake Something being gone as like and I'm a huge Jake Something fan. I like him, but he was just the guy they were never going to get behind. But I see that the Rascals is a big loss. I don't see the Inspiration of Killer Kelly as a big loss. I see that as an opportunity for other people to step up. And so with Inspiration out, I was hoping that, Harley Hudson and Mila Grace would be able to, be elevated. But instead, it looks like we're getting Indy Hartwell's going to have a tag partner. And it looks like we're going to be getting Cora Jade now. Cora Jade's in the company. And Cora Jade stinks. So she left wrestling to do porn. And it looks like that didn't work out. So she's back in wrestling. So hopefully that works out better for her than last time. But she's back in the company. I don't know. I was hoping that with these women that were out of the company, that the younger women that they brought in from the Indies would actually get a chance to step up.
Well, so I was just going to say this, and I know we kind of were throwing names out in the chat. I think one or both of them might have been victim to the visa issue as well. Because I know at least Mila does a ton of stuff in the UK still. She's like the OTT, like women's champion or something like that. So she's always over there. So like maybe Harley was here, but Mila Grace might not have been able to make it or something like that. Hopefully, we can start seeing some clarity on the New Mexico stuff, like some of the stuff sorted out by then. But I was surprised you didn't see like after how much they hyped it and how much they see them constantly like going after the tag titles. I was surprised we didn't see anything from like the Diamond Collective, which is like, Mila Moore and Tessa Blanchard, that group over there.
I'm surprised too. They were there. right? They were taking pictures there. We didn't see that. Like, we could have had some more matches. I'm just gonna
and that bothered me because like you could have put AJ Francis in a match and you just showed him in the crowd. What are we doing?
They had Cedric there, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't put Cedric and Moose in a match, right? I know they're gonna wrestle in the three-way Genesis, but like you could have just had them wrestle each other tonight. They could have done something like a tag match.
You could have AJ Francis wrestle Cedric Alexander.
You know, we needed an X Division showcase match because we lost the Leon and Myron Reed match. We needed something to backfill it. I assumed they were going to backfill it, and they never did. And you know what else they never did? They advertised, or they I don't think they advertised, but it got reported that Stax was going to defend the international title. He didn't do that.
Okay, so that one, let me clarify that one because I think I was the one that kind of took that quote, and like me and Dobby were kind of playing around with it a little bit. The way that it was quoted is Tommy Dreamer said he will defend his title on national TV or be there on Thursday. So I think that, you know, he kind of was able to use that to clarify it. That's gonna be another match that gets added to Genesis because I'm sure they're gonna find some goofy for him to defend it against. But,
yeah.
Like,
well, they got it. They have a ton of matches.
This Genesis card has just gone from like bad to worse. Like I know some of it's out of their control because obviously the visa issues, but it's just like, what are we doing here?
Well, whenever you have those issues go down, what you do is you let the wrestlers wrestle. That's usually when things get better. I remember years ago, it was a WWE show like in the fall, and a bunch of the wrestlers got sick, and they couldn't make the show. So they just like, hey, look, we have a depleted roster. They called up some people from NXT, and they flew AJ Styles from halfway around the world. It's like, you know, AJ Finn Balor, you guys just go take care of business. No feud, no storyline, no nothing. They just went and wrestled and had a fucking banger match. And they put Kurt Angle with the Shield in the main event, and they, you know, and they tore the house down. Like, whenever your roster gets depleted and the situation is beyond your control, which I have a problem with that. I think that, you know, I think it's incompetence that those visas didn't get. And now people are blaming the government, but I saw foreign wrestlers. Pac was just on fucking Dynamite last night, right? Like, I don't think that this is like a government issue putting an all stop to like Brits and Mexicans coming into the country. It's the fucking incompetent people in TNA not getting the goddamn visas straightened out ahead of time, right? Like, that's
Pac is also probably signed to an actual legitimate contract.
Yes. Yeah. Well, everybody else is on these per date bullshit contracts.
Whatever kind of deals they are. And I'm sure that makes it difficult too. Like, because like, yeah, that usually the company will take care of it. But if you're only on a 3-month deal and your deal just came up and like, are you actually employed? Are you in the process of negotiating? And see, this is part of my issue with this whole thing too, is like, you announced this new TV deal on December 2nd. Why are we still here a month later negotiating with anybody?
Yeah.
This should have all gotten done. Should have all gotten done before the deals at the end of the year expired. It should, like, you should have had agreements in place with people and say, hey, look, this is like, maybe the financials weren't exactly what they wanted them to be, but like, listen, we know what we have to do to work with now, and this is like, we're gonna have a little bit more money later, because I'm sure you still had some of the Anthem budget in place, even when you got this AMC money. Like, that just would have added to it, not taken away from it.
Yeah.
You could have at least had the agreements in place and then worked out the rest of them before the end of the year. So now you're at your first show of the year, 2 weeks into the new year, and it just shit the bed. This week for TNA, the best word I can think of to describe it is shit show.
Yeah.
Like, the entire week.
I completely agree. We'll see what happens with Genesis. Like, the matches are not marquee, I would say.
I still think we could get, like, I don't think it carries into February, because I think by then they're kind of going to have like their roster set, because I know, like, that's one of the things that Sean Ross said yesterday before he reported on the Rascals and Hobbs, is he's like, in the next week and a half, there's just going to be a ton of movement through all across the wrestling landscape, through a whole bunch of companies, talent coming, going, whatever.
Yeah.
So I would say by the dates that they announced in February, we should know, like mid-February, we should have a pretty solid idea of who's there and who's not going to be there and that type of stuff going forward. But like, I could still see Cross showing up at Genesis or like maybe next week in New Mexico. Like, I'll give you that because those are both going to be live events. But after that, it's just like this is pretty much going to be who we have, and this is what we're going to work with.
Yeah, and I'm sure more, some news will come out tomorrow, and then of course we're gonna have Genesis, and it looks like next week in Albuquerque we actually have like a full card announced, so that's good, and we got some
Jeff
dates.
Hardy and Mustafa Ali. You got the Future Fire coming back. They're gonna reveal the new member of the system. That's one where you could possibly see somebody new coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be EC3, right, in the system, or is it Matt Taven?
I mean, I would love for it to be either one. Or I would love to bring both in, to be honest. It sounds like Taven might be going to NWA, but it could be EC3, and I think me and Dobby were kind of talking about it the other day in the chat, and I was just like, man, you could have him in the system as like the only heel in the system, and he's like so far gone that he doesn't realize that everybody else isn't the heel around him.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting there like trying to be the leader of the group and like go one way and the rest of the group's going a different way, or something like that. But like a lot of people see MJF on the national stage now, and they didn't get to see EC3 back in 2016 and 2015 when he had this 1% gimmick, which is a lot of what MJF took his gimmick off of. So and now if they see it, they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's an MJF copycat." Well, no, he wasn't, but you guys just weren't around to see the other part of it.
Yeah. All right, Gerard, stick around. We got a few minutes left. It's almost midnight. I'm gonna try to get out of here by midnight. But there were some questions in the chat. So King of the North, and I'm going to answer this one. Has the money terms from AMC been confirmed by a credible outlet? It has not been reported by any outlet. Our buddy Blake talked about it in one of his things. He's saying that it was a 10 mil a year, but I think it was more speculation. I'm reporting independently of everybody else. This is Mike Gilbert's report, and you can fucking write it down. God damn it. I've said it a million times. This thing's a rev share deal. And I heard about it in September. Gerard, can you back me up? I heard about it in September.
Yep. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I heard about it in September. I heard about AMC in September, and that when they got it was going to be a rev share, meaning an ad split. And nothing that has come out since then has changed my mind on that. Now I can't confirm it. Like I don't have access to the books, like TNA has not admitted that. But the fact of the matter is that CAA, if TNA was getting 10 mil a year, they would be screaming it from the rooftops. I think this is an ad split similar to what AEW had whenever they were with TNT. I just know it, right? So you guys can write that down. I'm sure maybe somebody can like prove me wrong, but until somebody proves me wrong, that's what I'm going with, because that's fucking what I heard back in September. And then it says is next week live or tape. So here's the schedule, and I don't have the dates in front of me, but yeah, next week is live. They're doing live from Albuquerque, and then they'll probably do a taping after that airs, and then they got another live. They got a taping on Friday night, next Friday, and then in February they're going to Gerard. Where are they going in February? Is it Atlanta or Nashville? Nashville.
February is Nashville. You're gonna get No Surrender on that Friday, and then I think it's the 13th, Friday the 13th. You're gonna get No Surrender, and then a TV taping on Saturday the 14th, and then it's like early March. I think it's like the 5th and 6th. You're gonna get a live Thursday show, and then a taping Friday, and then a couple weeks later we do that one's in Atlanta, and then the third one that they announced is New Orleans, and it's like March 27th and 28th, Friday and Saturday. That's going to be Sacrifice, and then the taping after that.
Okay. So that's what it looked like the schedule. So from now on, it's going to be a mixture of live and tape shows, which is what they've been doing for the last year. So nothing really has changed on that front. So, but yeah, Gerard, I think we're going to go ahead and call this a night. I apologize to everybody for the original feed getting killed. I'll be back up if I might come back tomorrow on YouTube or Patreon if any news breaks. So that's what I'm looking at now. So
I'm sure there's gonna be something in the Observer. Dave's probably gonna shit all over this, but
yeah,
I'm sure there's gonna be some. All the talent are leaving. TNA is dead.
Oh yeah. So guys, look, I didn't like tonight's show. I'm telling you guys that it's gonna be a success. Because what we as wrestling fans that are like in this hardcore, that are obsessed with this shit, need to understand is that the things that we like and the things that we don't like are not really normal and don't really have an effect. I guarantee you there's a lot of people that like that show tonight. I just happen to not be one of them. And a lot of us are just really out of touch. I thought AMC advertised the show really well. TNA got out and did a lot of media in the build-up. And AMC bought like advertising on like big time football games and stuff over the weekend. And I thought they promoted it really well. I get the feeling this show is going to be a success. And Genesis is already upwards of, they blew past 3,000 already, right, Gerard?
Yeah, I want to say, let me see. I'll pull it up real quick. Genesis was at just about what was available, so it was like 3,050 out of 3,070. So I'm sure they're going to open up more seating tomorrow. That one will probably get up to I think this one got up to about 3,000. Will be the final count. They'll probably have it tomorrow morning at WrestleTix, and then I can see that one getting up to between 35 and 4.
Yeah, so they'll probably do right around what they did last year for Genesis, which is going to be pretty good. Like last year, they had a good crowd. So I get the feeling the show is going to do well. I'm curious to see how next week's show goes. If they can sell some tickets in Albuquerque, they announced some big matches, so hopefully they do, and we'll see what's going on with Genesis. All right, Gerard, let's get out of here.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, guys in the chat, I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's late. I'll be back on Sunday night, and until next time, mahalo.
Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is, how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.